What's up? What's up?
What's going on, people?
Yes. All right. We are back again with the Conscious Outlet Podcast. Please like and subscribe.
Like for the algorithm.
Yes. Can you please like and subscribe? Because the thing is, if you've been here already a couple times and you still haven't liked or subscribed to this podcast,
come on now.
We already go together. So just make it official. Okay? Thank you. All right. We about to get into some business today. I'm your host, Miracle Monique.
And I am the other host, Alan Redmond. Yeah, I had to give y'all my full name.
Gave the government name.
I know.
Alan J, everyone.
Got to start it out with the last.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're about to get into some business today, okay? I know you saw the thumbnail. I know you saw the title. And this topic is probably going to ruffle some feathers, but that's because you may not have good listening skills, okay? All you have to do is listen. Open your ears, open your heart, and just kind of sit and receive and, open your heart to something new, okay? Mm-hmm. So we're going to be talking about the feminist movement.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the feminist movement and how we believe that what it represents now is really hurting our society. And we're also going to introduce 4 reasons why you probably shouldn't be a feminist in 2023 or 2024.
Male or female.
Yes, anybody. Maybe it's not a good idea. So we're going to be answering the question of, so how did the ideology of feminism come to be and change from when the concept first started to where we are now? And why are so many people choosing to step away from it? Right? Mm-hmm. So this is a part of our micro trend series, which we started when we talked about social media, right?
Right.
So what are micro trends? They are the trends within trends, right?
Yes. So basically they are the little clusters that actually make up basically a whole society. I mean, it's actually, the definition is actually in the word microtrend. So
yeah, it's those things you don't notice, like you can notice the trend of a health epidemic, but you might not notice the things going on within that health epidemic that don't get reported enough. Just an example. Mm-hmm. So today we're going to be talking about the microtrends within feminism, specifically modern feminism. Okay, and I'm really excited about this one because this is a topic that is near and dear to me because I do believe that there are a lot of intricacies in here that really shape the way men and women relate to each other, which is literally the basis of society and the way we populate Earth and the way we honor and glorify God, all of that. It's the cornerstone. And so the thing about it is this topic is important because we have to discuss what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. So those microtrends are really important because we might not be seeing those things all the time. We could be missing it.
Exactly.
So we're going to be talking about modern day feminism. Okay. Mm-hmm. So a little bit of history. Basically, there's been like 3 waves of feminism already, right? Mm-hmm. So the first one started with the women's suffrage movement. It kind of coincided with like the Industrial Revolution. And that was to basically let the world know that women are also legal entities by themselves without a man, which I find, I don't think there's an issue with that at all. I think the intent was a good one. Especially since, during that time, women weren't allowed to do a lot of the things that we can now. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, so basically, like, women were like second-class citizens. Well, not even that sometimes.
Yeah, not even sometimes, yeah. I don't even think, if I know properly, I don't even think women had a whole lot of rights during that time.
No.
Couldn't get a job, definitely couldn't get a job.
And even if they decided to try to go to the bank, they couldn't get nothing signed off without their husbands and stuff like that. So there definitely is and, was some positivity to come out of feminism.
No bodily autonomy, all of that. And like the thing is, you had to be married to function in society. I'm all for marriage. Y'all know that. But the thing about it is, if you weren't married, you were considered this word that I haven't heard since like ever, a spinster.
A spinster, what is that?
A spinster, it's like an unmarried woman from that time period. Yeah, basically, Yeah.
Like a harlot.
I think so. I think they were the same thing. I think they were, but I can't really remember. But
that would kind of suck, because if you like, not the, I mean, I'm quite sure looks played a big role, and also just where you were in the hierarchy of, hey, this person that is like the sheriff or something like that, and like if you wasn't up with the Uppities or the Johnsons, you probably wasn't, about to get married, or be.
yeah, that's actually funny you say that, because the first wave of feminism, when all that was going on, it was mainly giving more rights to white women during that time. It didn't really include black women. In fact, I think slavery was still also in play at that time too. So the women's suffrage movement really only applied to white women during that time. And so the second wave of feminism really played more on race and class. And so that was when, women finally had the right to vote, but now it was between, having the right to get lines of credit in your name, and the right to more bodily autonomy, and things like that. So it shifted a lot during that time. Still think it was completely relevant, because I don't believe other ethnicities of women were really involved during the first wave of feminism, which is why I said most of the privileges during that time applied to just white women.
I mean,
but
if you really think about it, there really wasn't like any segue for any other, race or background to even, have, just that voice or whatever. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you had to have this specific group to basically speak for all women, so.
Yeah, I do. I really do think, everything happens for a reason, and you got to have those. You just got to have those smaller groups that kind of make way for those other groups. I mean, that is what it is. It's fine, And so, yeah, I think the second wave feminism kind of played more into like the race and in class, because it was more so talking to women of like middle and lower classes and other ethnicities, which is a really good thing. Third wave happened more so in the 60s and 70s, and it kind of coincided with like the sexual revolution. And that's kind of when you saw like the bra
hippies,
burning and the hippies and the birth control taking over and things like that. And so
and that whole expressionism of people just being themselves, or just experimenting. I think there was a lot of experimenting when it came to drugs, and
lots of experimenting. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and a lot of societal experts, things like that, would probably say we're in the fourth wave right now, which really, I don't even know how to describe this one. It kind of plays more into the digital sphere, I guess, because that wasn't a thing back then. So it plays into like the Me Too movement, for example, right? Calling out those famous and high authority men who have been accused of like sexual assault and things like that, and really making sure that there's awareness around that.
I would definitely say this trend that I guess the feminist group is in now, to me, I consider it more like a mob right now, more than anything.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna get to that.
I don't want to step on no toes, but I am. So.
I think with anything in society, with movements, the pendulum always has to swing too far on one end and then the other. So I think you are exactly right. It has become a mob, but it's more of like the radicalized women going more that route. But yeah, that's kind of a brief history of it. But go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just going to ask you, what do you think that it probably stemmed from, like this little movement? Because I would say from the past 60 years, there has been a progression, but like, where do you think that pendulum is actually swinging and everything, or like, where did it stem from?
My thoughts on that is, it's so complicated, but it's really not. So the thing about it, sometimes when you no longer have anything to fight for, you create things. And so I think that's what's happening now, because women have every right in the world to do whatever we want. In fact, I can really say in a lot of ways we have more rights than men. We can get away with doing a lot more than men can. Oftentimes, y'all are being held accountable on a higher level to the things that women can more so get away with. That's my belief, my opinion. I have to say that every time because you know how the internet goes. But yeah, because honestly, things like, and you know, this is where, you know, a lot of feminists will bring up like, well, what about the gender pay gap and things like that? Well, first of all, I don't believe in the gender pay gap.
Yeah, I don't either. I didn't.
So
I think
that's
at
been
some part
debunked
of
many
time,
times.
it definitely was though.
I don't even know if that's a thing that really ever happened, in my opinion, because in general, women have always just done jobs differently than men.
Okay.
In many ways. Like
being a secretary
women
or
work
something?
less hours than men on average. Women work less dangerous and less high paying jobs than men on average. Women usually will take leave from their jobs because of children. We function differently when it comes to jobs because they're not our end all be all. Whereas a man, he has more of a capacity to do that because first of all, he wants to. Second, well, actually, it could be first and second. He's a provider, so men naturally will want to work those longer hours and those more dangerous jobs if it means providing for his family.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, like...
You know what? Just to piggyback a little bit on what you were saying about those dangerous jobs. Do you remember when I was in Iowa and I was like, hey, I wonder who changes out these motors in this, you know, huge little wind turbine. And not saying that a woman can't do it, but 9 times out of 10, those men who climb up those 60,000 feet to just change out their motor, like in my opinion, a woman wouldn't want to put themselves in that type of position and be by themselves up there, because a lot of times it's definitely that's definitely one of the things that that a man would typically do. So
yeah, no, I completely agree with that, and that kind of brings it back to the feminist movement, right? And how those ideas kind of carried over into a lot of the ways that we think today, including this video I want to get into that we talked about before, but we never showed a clip from it, from Sue Ellen Broder, a former Cosmo writer from the 60s or 70s, I think. And she dives into the way Cosmo printed lies to women about women to promote certain propaganda during that time. And I just think it's really telling the things that I guess we allowed as a society and we're still allowing, even though they've been debunked and they've been told as lies and things of that nature. It's pretty interesting to hear her go that deep into it, so I kind of want to get into that video.
All right, here comes the video.
Why all of this hijacking of the women's movement? Money. Why was Cosmos so successful? Because it attracted advertisers. Why did it attract advertisers? Because it worked. When a young woman, an insecure young woman, reads these magazines and thinks that she has to have perfume, cosmetics, hair products, beautiful clothes, singles travel, abortions, contraception. When she thinks she has to have all of these things, she's going to spend a lot of money. What these magazines are doing, and what now the internet and everywhere, turning a woman into a commodity. She's got this picture of herself on herself. It's all about me. If you can convince a woman that everything is about her, then she has to buy a whole bunch of stuff to make herself so wonderful. If inside she knows who she is, she doesn't need all that stuff. Now there's the other side of it. I say we're all liberated. Are we? So on one hand, yes, we can go to college, we can get a degree, we can be doctors, lawyers, engineers, we can do all this stuff, we can make all this money. But how liberated are we if our girls have got that in their pocket? Before they can even think.
That's some heat. I'm not even gonna lie. I definitely want to just start it off. So one of the key things to me that basically stood out was that the world has made you women think that you all are a commodity, and that's what we're seeing right now, which that leads into what we were talking about earlier, that micro trend. Okay, you need all of these things in order to be important, or within a certain range. Like, hey, I am of value because I look like this, I smell like this, and I'm around these certain type of people. And then that's when you get into what I saw. I think I saw something that kind of went viral. It was this girl who said, hey, in order to go out on a date with me.
Oh, Lord. Are you talking about the Cheesecake Factory lady?
No. But we going to, I mean, that can come down the road, but it's a lady that said, hey, if you want to take me out, I'm actually charging you a $500 fee.
I saw that.
A $500 fee. So,
y'all gotta be trolling at this point.
No.
No, not you. I'm saying, like, these can't be real stories, Continue.
Yeah, so I'm just sitting here thinking, this is what, like, liberation can go so high that you end up just staying there, and then you end up believing on what a magazine has told you that you are. But according to like the word, everything that you have is actually on the inside of you, instead of going out into the world to actually search what would make you beneficial. Like you are already a queen because you were made from a king. Mm-hmm. And he perfectly crafted you to be the best version of yourself, so you can be a reflection to younger women, to yourself, to the future. And it's to me, it's probably the saddest thing that I've been seeing, is that women have accepted themselves being a commodity.
Yeah.
And but people like that label of, hey, I'm a queen, I'm this. I'm not gonna lie, from getting the BBLs, like, yeah, I understand you want to feel good for yourself, but a lot of this stuff is actually not for themselves, because the first thing that they're going to do is get on social media and show it off. Okay, I mean, I'm not trying to rag on anybody, but we see the videos. Like, all right, a girl is in their house, record themselves cleaning, and all you see is
the booty.
Yeah. All you see is the yams. Can I get to the yams? But
I can't stand you.
Yeah. But yeah. That's my little 2 cents. But I know the feminism thing, that's something that I can say that you definitely know a little bit more about. So, I wanna sit here and learn. But it's just giving. I feel like I can speak for like a lot of level-headed men. Of course you can. Because a lot of people say that we can't, talk about some things that we aren't. But yeah.
No, I don't believe that. That makes no sense to me. I'm allowed to speak on an animal if I know it's an animal. It doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, yeah, no, the enemy has definitely disguised bondage as liberation. Mm-hmm. Like, because that's exactly what's going on right now. You're so liberated, but you're really placing yourself under this hold, this bondage. That means that bondage is sin, which is exactly why you see all these liberated women who go out and have sex with all these different men as many times as they want. And they're like, oh, yeah, I feel good. And then a couple months later, you feel empty, you feel depressed, you're anxious, you feel suicidal. You feel like you have no purpose in life, and you feel like no one cares about you. Why? You're so liberated. Why? Yeah. You're so liberated. You did exactly what you wanted to do, right? So why do you feel that way? And society will keep in the culture, the hookup culture will keep telling you that, you know, this is what you need to feel liberated. You need a high paying job, you need to be single, and you need to have all these different sex partners so that you can feel good about yourself and know that you took full control of your life. But did you though?
You know what? You just said something that a lot of people probably just didn't catch. So we think that we have control over our life, but we really don't. Just think about it. We can be as safe as possible. We can have the, you know, best car. We can have all the sensory, you know, safety features and everything. You can get out on the road and you can get killed, and that right there shows you that you're not in control as much as you would think that you are. So
that is so true. That kind of leads into the first micro trend within modern day feminism, which is that loneliness is becoming a disease. That is the first micro trend that we're going to talk about. Loneliness is becoming a disease. So I say that because right now there's a huge distortion in the space that says that men and women are no different. Therefore, how I am should be the way you are. And if you aren't, well, maybe something's wrong with you. Maybe you're toxic, whatever. Like, maybe we need to do something about that. Yeah. Like, something's wrong with this, basically. Why aren't we alike? Why don't you think like me? And so fundamentally, we're told that if you aren't like us, if you don't move like us or think like us, you're the enemy. Mm-hmm. So with, like, for example, right, within one of the, like, the range of feminist ideas is that men need to express their emotions the way women do. Mm-hmm. But by asking that of men, we are essentially disrespecting the way you guys think, because because you guys don't process or express emotion the way a woman would, because neurologically we're just different. Hormonally, we're just different. Like, a man's hormones generally stay the same throughout the course of his day, whereas a woman's goes up and down throughout the course of a day.
Just like the stock market.
Just, all right, calm down.
Trust me, I know.
But no, but I'm saying that's a true thing that men and women need to accept from each other in order to be able to come together and form that close bond again. Yeah. So, I also learned that loneliness can actually change the neurochemistry of the brain. It can turn off, like, certain dopamine neurons, mm-hmm. and that triggers, like, the reward response, right? Mm-hmm. So by causing that degeneration in the brain, and the reward response can't be activated. So therefore, you go deeper and deeper into feeling lonely and feeling that kind of depression stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are definitely, I'm just going to say I'm going to say people, but I'm also going to say women too. Whether it's the women in my family or, or friends and stuff, I see that people definitely get stuck in that mindset. And, like, the hardest thing that I think is they don't know how to get out. And I actually feel bad for, some people who actually don't know how to get out because maybe they don't have that community. That's what we're supposed to do as, Christians, as, disciples of, Christ. We supposed to give our experiences and also what, how the, Holy Spirit actually leads us to actually help each other out. But, just really making sure that we put on our kingdom spectacles, that is probably one of the best things that we can do, is because even in myself, I've went out of myself, or even out of the will of God, to actually try to find certain things. And what I found out is it's definitely a dead end. To me, it's definitely a dead end. But you have to come with some openness, because you saying, "Hey, I don't need anybody." No, we were made in pairs. We, like, community. It's nothing like when you are around people that have the same or similar mindset as you, or even have the same type of agenda, or like, hey, we're gonna do this together. Prime example, a marathon. If they did that in a separate way, like just one person running, you wouldn't have that motivation. But a marathon is successful how it is because you have those multiple people energies, and everything is towards one goal, just like God's kingdom. Hey,
But they're competing against each other.
and which, yeah. It's it just all depends on, I guess, that person's maturity level, because I feel like growth is intentional, and anything else is really what you want to make it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I love what you said about us not having that village anymore, because it's so true. Like, we don't know how to form those close bonds anymore, and that's why you see a lot of like relational and familial structures breaking, because we don't think they're important anymore, and we wonder why we're so lonely. Well, it's because you aren't confiding in anybody, and you probably especially aren't like confiding in God. And so now you're lonelier than ever, and you're just here, and like, what's the next step after this? Because you weren't meant to be this way. We're meant to be around each other and be with people, but we're always told that we don't need each other.
Yeah, and
we're always told, if he don't have what I have, you don't need him or anybody else, because what can he do that you can't already do for yourself?
And then on the flip side, it's like, well, if he don't have this, or like, well, a lot of times people end up saying, hey, well, if that man is not making $200K, or, if that man can't, do everything that you want him to do.
Check the boxes.
Yeah, green flags, red flags, all of that is, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, just get to know the people. But we're afraid to do that because we approach relationships in a transactional way. And we've talked about this before, too, just on the side. But, like, yeah, we approach it like it's a transaction. I'm giving you this, so what am I getting out of it? Instead of what it's meant to be, which is a give. And then you'll if that person loves you, you will get something. Yeah. But it's the thing of not expecting anything back. Like, I mean, God gave his son. He didn't really expect us to give our life to him, but he gave us that option. Just like we should be doing with each other. Give him that option. Give him that opening. So
So it's like that combination of freedom, materials, and comfort, and access to technology. It definitely brought us together, but everybody wants to either fit in or like feel like, hey, I'm a part of something. Bigger, which is definitely nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, it makes you feel like that you are basically on this earth to, live, work, have fun, go on trips to Dubai, and pop bottles and definitely show off to people. And then you realize, okay, one day you're going to have to hit a moment of being by yourself and alone with your own thoughts that you have to understand. Like, I don't care what are your beliefs. You're like, hey, life has to be more than just this.
Yeah, I like that. Actually, is great because it leads into our second micro trend. But before we get there, I want to touch on this scripture, Genesis 2:18. We going right back to the beginning.
All right,
because that's how you find the truth. That's how you find the fundamentals of what you need to know, right? So Genesis 2:18, when God said, "It is not good for man to be alone. I will make him a helpmeet," and that scripture in particular stands out to me in a big way, because before this scripture, and we were in the middle of the creation period when God is, creating the heavens and the earth during this time, he's saying, yeah, this is good. This is good. This is good. He makes it a point to point out and emphasize that, yeah, these things I'm pointing out right now are good. These are the things that I'm trying to emphasize for you to focus on.
That's good.
That
That's good.
is good, you know? But then he goes on to the first thing that is not good when he creates man, and he says, it's not good for man to be alone. This is not good. I don't like this. We got to change it. You can't be alone here. Because God's not alone.
Exactly.
We're a reflection of him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's another thing. Just understanding that we need each other, essentially. I think it'll change the way we approach and relate to each other. Because it seems that we're at a point now where we don't even respect each other or understand why the other is here. And that's pretty sad.
Yeah, if you think about it, it definitely comes down to not knowing your place. Not knowing where you fit at in this world, to where you just choose something. You're playing Russian roulette, you know, with your life. Like, well, I feel like I should be with, you know, this group. Now, there's a difference between I feel and also faith. You know, like right now, we are sitting in seats. We didn't have to think about it because we had that faith that this seat would actually do what they're supposed to do. So that faith comes with will and all of that. And so I cannot harp on that like enough. And, you know, that scripture is definitely on point. I mean, the thing is, because I'm not one of those people to like throw the Bible over someone's head or whatever, but even in your own life, you may not know that you're worshiping something, but you are. You're worshiping something on social media.
We gonna get to that.
Okay.
We gonna get to that in the second microtrend. Okay, we're gonna get there. Just let me say this one scripture real quick.
Okay, go ahead. I was about to start cooking.
I know you are. That's why I had to stop you right quick. Okay, let me just So I also want to talk about Genesis 2:24, where it says, "Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and the two shall be one flesh." Right. So I love this because in that same chapter, he is already establishing the type of relationship we should be having with each other.
A man and a woman.
Yes, but not just that. They should be one flesh.
Yes, unity.
Yes.
And that's
yeah.
Body, mind, spirit. Should I keep on going? On a one accord.
On one accord, exactly. He already established from the very beginning. He already established it from the very beginning. This is how I want you all to relate to each other. You are all my children. You are all supposed to be on one side, my side.
Yeah.
And that's it. But yes, we'll move on. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
And we do got a few comments. Okay. I want to give a shout out to everybody. My mom is definitely in the house, you know.
Jocelyn. Hi, Jocelyn.
And I got my boy Stanley.
That's one of my friends.
Stan 360. You know, he is a producer and a very good producer. Always supports me and I always support him.
I believe Jocelyn also has a YouTube channel. So look her up, Jocelyn Starr. It's really good. I've seen a lot of her content. Well, she's out here really speaking to women. Go ahead.
Well, I'm definitely going to have to. Check you out, Jocelyn. And then we have. Hey, lovely people.
Hi, thank you.
And then we have Kenya that's saying, let's go.
Oh, hey, Kenya.
You already know that we got to bring the energy. You know, Kenya, we trying to help change the world for the better, you know.
Hey,
in our own little way. Let's see.
You know how we do it.
And then we got, hey.
Mayday. That's my cousin.
Okay, what's going on, cousin? Yeah.
Go
he said that.
Some toes.
Oh yeah. I think,
trying.
Yeah. Actually, I think that's important because everybody just want this inclusion type stuff, you know. And the kingdom is about exclusivity.
Right.
You know. So.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's about it with the comments for right now. Yeah, yeah. I mean, of course we have more, but it's like, hey, you all, my mom, and then who is TMC? Let's.
I believe that is Kenya's mom. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Kenya's mom. All right.
I think my mom just commented. I'll put it up.
Okay.
Josh's mom too. Hey,
Miss Prophet.
Thank you. We try. But yeah, we're not trying to purposely step on toes. I don't think that's really the point.
We want to spiritually step on your toes.
No, that's not it either. It's more so we're just speaking the truth, and if the truth hurts you, I mean, that sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah, I feel it.
Like, we can't be lukewarm anymore out here.
Yeah, because I mean, that veil is definitely thin, and you already know what's going on.
I'm telling you, I was just
Israel,
telling Kenya about my dreams. I'm like, I think the veil between the spiritual and natural is thinning or something. Because my dreams have been super vivid. I don't even know why, but yeah.
Yeah, miracle, waking up, crying, and shaking, and all of that.
Okay, well, I wasn't shaking, no, but. No, I had a dream that everyone said they didn't like me. It hurt my feelings. But yeah, we're going to move on.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're going to look at the second micro trend within modern day feminism, right? Mm-hmm. Look at the comment.
Yeah, exactly.
So the second trend, the micro trend, is what we were just talking about. It was a good segue into it. Mm-hmm. We collectively don't understand our purpose on Earth anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I truly believe that, just to simply break it down, we're not reading the word, not just reading, but we're not reading it for comprehension. We're not reading it in the spirit. We're not trying to read it even academically. If you just think about it, we're so surface level now, because like now people don't pay attention for stuff that if it's over 125 characters, people not paying attention. Everybody wants that instant gratification, but if you just read the word, of course, this life is not a destination; it's a journey, and I know that we gotten away from it, just even in my opinion, just listening to, it can be gospel music, it can be this gospel rap, like just because we, a person throws God into it, oh yeah, it's like gospel rap that's like drill music, and I'm like, yeah, I'm stepping on these demon necks. I'm like, oh, come on now. Yeah, we definitely have gotten away. We definitely gotten away from the word and everything.
Josh, just letting you know, I can't see the screen anymore. I don't know if that's... Okay, cool. We're good. Just wanted to make sure, guys. Okay.
Yeah, to our amazing producer.
Yes. So, but I completely agree. I mean, because, the culture has blurred the lines between men and women, right? So it's like, where do we go from here? We have dismantled these fundamental truths. We can't define a man, can't define a woman. We're essentially all the same. And so it's like, where do we go from here? Why are we here? And like you were saying, nobody wants to use God as guidance. So who do we turn to? Ourselves. And that's not a good thing, because our hearts are deceitful, according to the words.
Above all.
Yeah. So what do our hearts want to turn to? The things that we probably don't need. So we run after things like careers or fame or money or sex. And you hear these celebrities all the time talking about how much money they have, and they still feel like they serve no real purpose. Mm-hmm. And so many rich people and celebrities and people of really high status, you see them all the time committing suicide, and it's like, as an average person, of the middle class caliber or something, you're looking at these people and you're like, man, you have it all. Why would you even think about doing that? And it's because they haven't been serving in their purpose. Yeah. And they know that. And so now they feel like they have no purpose, which is not true. But because the enemy has distorted that perspective for them, now he has caused them to feel this way, in their heart. And now it's getting into their mind, and now it's causing them to make these actions. Yeah. And so it's really heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. And you know, I think about like, why do we desire these things so much? And why are these things so important to our flesh? I think about what's his name? His name is Blaise Pascal. He is a 17th century like Christian thinker. I think he was a philosopher or something like that. I hate that I can't remember. But he was once referring to the spiritual condition of mankind, and he famously said that there is a God-shaped vacuum in the heart of each man, which cannot be satisfied by any created thing, but only by God the Creator made known through Jesus Christ. And every time I read that, I'm like, it's so true. Because think about how often you hear someone say, I'm trying to find my purpose, every day looking and searching for their purpose, you know. And as a result of this, when we are separated from God, our hearts are constantly and even desperately running after things to fill that space, but it can only be reserved for our Creator. And so, you know, that should tell us something, that, you know, we feel purposeless because we feel like we don't have one. And if it's up to us to create our own purpose, we're going to be searching for a lifetime. Because, you know, like I said, think about how many people are saying, you know, I'm looking for my purpose. I'm trying to find my purpose. Well, how long does it usually take them? And how far do they believe they have to go to find it? You have people going to India and going to like all these distant places to try to find their purpose and find their meaning, when the word is right here.
Yeah.
It's right here.
I know, just with myself, just giving a example. I'm a very open person. I'm pretty much of an open book, and the reason why that I am, at first I just thought, oh yeah, that's just me, but it actually came from reading the Bible, reading the Word, learning about God, and everything about Him was open. Is because He know that, hey, if I'm open, the people that I meet on my journey, that they're going to be open. And so I know when I was out there in the streets, I was looking for, of course, I was looking for a good woman. I was looking for that person. But at the same time, I would say it was maybe in the middle of that journey to where I was like, hey, I can't be looking for something that I'm not. And I have to build who I am before I go and try to, as an incomplete person, and try to go and find someone that will make me feel complete or whatever. Because as crazy as this may sound, your feelings are things that you cannot trust a lot of times.
They don't want to hear that.
I promise you, I feel a lot of things. If I'm being honest, I mean, a lot of times, I hate to say it, but a lot of times I be want to hurt people. But at the same time, I know that, you know, that's definitely not the way to go.
But imagine if he followed that feeling.
Exactly, that's the thing.
He'd be in jail.
I'm glad you said jail. You know, because people be trying me. And then I try not to take it personally. But what I will say, what ended up definitely helping me is definitely like the Holy Spirit. It's that God is like, hey, you need to think about what you're gonna do. So if you smack this man at work, you finna be homeless and jobless.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah.
So please don't.
Yes, I won't. So I always like to keep it, you know, real and definitely funky with just everybody. You know, I think a lot of times that when we come on platforms and stuff, we tend to, I would say, put up a barrier And I think that if you can choose to be authentic, you can help out a person with their mindset. Because, well, just talking about being a feminist, that's all about a philosophy. So how you think about something, that becomes you. And like, it's definitely in the same bridge as, like the word, like, hey, the word is my philosophy, and that's something that I live by. So if you are calling yourself a feminist, calling yourself, this, the word says that we're not just dealing with flesh and blood, but we're dealing with spiritual and principalities. It's stuff behind the scenes that we don't even know that is influencing us. Even, just social media. Media, the root word is medium. It's that thing between. And so I just would just urge just anybody and everybody to really just find that community. I mean, at the end of the day, I say try it out. Try Jesus out. Try Jesus, but don't try me.
Don't try Jesus either. He wasn't no punk.
No.
Jesus wasn't no punk. He wasn't singing Kumbaya all the time.
Yeah.
He flipped some tables.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He said, didn't I already tell you this? Didn't I already say this? What it got to do with me, woman? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, Jesus.
hey.
Savagery.
Yeah, exactly.
Peter,
so
savage, cutting ears off.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Peter one of these days.
Yeah.
We're going to talk
like
about
Peter.
Peter. I bet.
Yeah.
You like him enough to know that he even denied
Yeah.
3 times that day?
Yeah. Yeah.
He came back. He redeemed himself.
Exactly. He's
redeemed
solid.
himself.
He's
Yeah.
solid. That's
Yeah.
that's a real.
That's what I love about Jesus. He lets us fall and get back up.
Yes. That name McClurkin. We fall, but
We make it clear, though, why I think the modern day version of feminism is causing us to collectively feel like we have no real purpose. Again, the modern day version of feminism has blurred the lines between men and women. They have blurred the lines. We can no longer define what a man is. We can no longer define what a woman is. And because we can't do that, there is no such thing as a woman's space. There is no such thing as a man's space. There is no such thing as a woman's essence, a man's essence. There's no such thing. So
they all are definitely very distinct and different, and it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah, exactly. And because we have blurred the lines, we no longer know how to communicate with each other. Now it's like, okay, we're here, but why? I don't need you to have kids. I don't need you to be my husband. I don't need you because I don't need God. I don't need any of that. So why are you here? Like, why do I need you?
Yeah, it is.
And it's causing, I would say, I'm seeing a rise of like really passive men.
Yeah, I do too.
Due to this. And it's kind of scary because I think about maybe us going to war one day and they're trying to draft women. I'm not going.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. You know,
I'm not going. I know that was random. But I'm not going. It's causing a lot of men not to know what they're here for. Okay, you don't need me for any of this. So as a man, what am I fighting for? What am I doing? I'm allowed to be complacent then. I don't need to do anything.
I like everything that you were just saying because Miss Sonia Prophet definitely had a comment that I actually like. The truth should correct us. Keep speaking God's word.
It should.
Yes.
It should correct us.
And I think that both of us, Miracle, we're definitely distinct in our own way. And like, I don't expect someone who is not a believer to, know this, but since God, even though God made us as a pair, being whole or unique is actually you being your own individual
Oh, yeah.
on how he actually created you, because all of us are different. And if you want to just even know just a little bit more on how we different, I can definitely go into something in the corner world. Each one of us, we can be identified from our fingerprints, and that, think about it, it's 100 billion people on the world, basically in the earth or whatever, and all of us have a different, unique fingerprint.
You're right.
So that means that his finger is definitely on us, and it's just so important to understand that, hey, a king made me in his peculiar light. That means he set us apart, and that means that there's a certain protection that actually comes with it. But once you get outside that will, this is what is happening. It's division. You got division among churches. You got division amongst ourselves. You got divisions even in marriages. When that man should be really correcting and reproofing not only his family but himself.
Yes. Constantly.
And having that community, as what we talked about, that elder, the elder man, like, hey man, that's not the way to go. Or even from the female side, having that, one like, hey, you ought to treat your husband better. Hey, you need to understand that your daughter is watching you.
Yeah.
Your son is watching you.
Yeah.
And your grandchildren or whatever. So like,
because they are.
Yes. I am a advocate for people being real and growing and loving. I love to see love, because that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to love all each other, but at the same time, if he made this world and then we decide that, hey, we just want to do what we want, now you're outside of his protection. And like I said, you got all this stuff that's going on that people running aimlessly and they don't even know where they are right now. You got the blind leading the blind. So and I'm at
the mercy of the world.
Exactly. I hate to pull out shots. I'm talking about the church too.
Absolutely.
Because there's a different.
We got to get it together.
Yeah. I hate to go off on this little tangent, but hey, this is what it's supposed to be. Hey, it's about the kingdom.
Yeah.
Not about church. Because, we go to church maybe for 2 hours and we feel good. And then your life hasn't been changed. Like, you're supposed to be passionate about this. And that's just me. I wasn't even expecting to, say all of this, but you got to be real.
Do you think the church is operating in what it was created to do?
Huh?
Do you think the church is operating in what it was created to do?
I think yes and no. The reason why I say that is that I feel like the church has gotten caught up in the church has got caught up in church instead of caught up in the kingdom, because it said in Matthew 6:10 that so as it is in heaven on earth. So that means that you're supposed to do what the sovereign, king wants you to do, and his statutes and his rules. That's like even in what Great Britain, they have their rules. They have their king and queen.
They got their constitution. Their legally binding documents.
Exactly. Philosophy, and God's philosophy is his word.
Yeah.
And that's what we're supposed to use. This is our manual to actually live by. And it ain't, to be honest, it been time out for playing.
Ooh. Don't tell them that. Yes.
And definitely got a comment. Hey everyone, I hope that everyone is well. Just wanted to say great topic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, come on with it. Hey, we are all helping each other at the end of the day.
Exactly. We don't know everything. I'm still learning every day.
Exactly.
Every day. Yeah. I'm honestly excited to get into this third micro trend.
Okay. Come on with it.
But before
Cook
we
it.
do, we're going to take a little break.
All right.
Live right after this break.
Live right after this break. So.
Quality.
Bring us back. And we're back, everyone.
We're back like we never left.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. We're still getting the hang of this podcast of business, okay? We're still getting the hang of it. I want to really quickly.
Make sure y'all press the like button. If you don't do anything else, press that like button, subscribe, comment. I mean, the more comments that we get, the more that we can make this like a really, really good conversation. Because I want to talk like we talking in the barbershop, or like how whenever you talk to your grandmama back in Mississippi, you know. So,
Like for the algorithm, okay?
Yeah.
And yeah, honestly, I'm excited for this next micro trend that we're about to get into.
3.
Yeah, it's the third one, and this is something probably we don't talk about enough, and it might be because we don't know it's an issue, right? So this third micro trend is that narcissism is becoming normalized and encouraged, okay? Mm-hmm. And I say this because when we don't have that relational or familial structure to root us, we no longer have people we either depend on or people that depend on us. So, especially now since we're in the middle of that F them kids movement where nobody wants to have kids and nobody's like reproducing anymore. Like there's like a concern right now of the replacement population thing, and it's a whole thing. There's actually a book on it.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, so now we're in the middle of this and the culture is saying this, and so now it's all about us. It's all about me and what we want. And what do we hear all the time, right? What do we hear all the time, especially people our age? I only want things that serve me. I want things and people around that serve me. I only want friends around that serve me. And people don't understand how fundamentally narcissistic that sounds. Mm-hmm. I just don't get that. I only want things around that serve me, I guess because it sounds so catchy. Mm-hmm. And you know, once something becomes catchy and becomes a meme on the internet, it's essentially the digital Bible.
Yeah, it is.
People use it to repost, requote, and reuse and establish as their own philosophy in their own life. Exactly. And so, yeah. But, you know, again, that can only go skin deep. And now we're entering a state of mind where we're actually becoming narcissistic. And
I'm putting on my Morpheus glasses.
oh my God.
Blue pill, red pill.
I could probably make the argument that you putting on your glasses is somehow narcissistic.
Yes.
I'm kidding. I don't know. Actually, if you try hard enough, you can make an argument for anything. But
she's using words that she don't even know.
I like that you said that. Narcissism is a word that we love to misuse and overuse when it benefits us, right? Because we are in the culture of mental health and mental health checks and mental stability, mental instability, mental issues, everything mentally, because that is so important to us, which is very good it is a good thing, but it can also backfire because we're in the age of information too, where information is so accessible that it can actually cause us as a collective to misdiagnose people and be like, oh, you're showing all those traits, you must be that.
Yep.
You have to be that. I mean, think about like all the TikTok trends where people are like getting like tics, or people are usually they're like claiming some sort of mental disorder or mental issue as a personality trait. It's kind of scary. It's like they're using their ADD or they're using their bipolar disorder as a way of identifying themselves, not really as a way to bring awareness to it, but as a way to essentially use it as a personality trait.
Yeah.
I see it a lot with like high schoolers and lower, maybe because they're in a state of mind where they're still trying to find themselves, and so that could be it.
I think it's more than just with high schoolers. I mean, just look
I know.
at the
I see it more with that. I'm saying
Okay.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen with other people.
Okay.
But yeah, that's just me. But so I want to go over the 15 signs of narcissism. I may not go over all of them because that's a lot of signs, but I'm gonna touch on a lot of them because I do believe that there is a culture of narcissism going on right now that isn't being talked about enough, and that I do believe it is a result of the modern feminist movement that we're seeing today. So I'm gonna go over a lot of these signs, and if it sounds like And I want you to tell me if it sounds like many of the issues you hear in relationships or friendships today between men and women, or women and women, or men and men, or whatever. And now, again, this is not to diagnose anyone, okay? But this is just to communicate what we are seeing reflected in society right now, which is a growing narcissistic culture, okay?
Okay.
All right, so
Bring
first
us
sign.
home.
The first sign is narcissists have to be the best, the most right, and the most competent, and do everything their own way and control everyone. That's the first sign of narcissism.
I mean, can I shoot a shot? I mean, would you say that what's his name, Pastor Michael Tide is somewhere up there? You know, with
probably
with the like I'm not saying that the man is, narcissist, but I know that because I don't like to attach words to, certain people
we're not
or certain things.
diagnosing.
Yeah, exactly. But I definitely say the pride aspect. The pride aspect, of course, we all deal with,
pride is definitely
That's when sometimes you can get too high. You get too high, and you haven't had God as your foundation, because he will continue to bring certain things into remembrance. Every day is a renewed,
Every day you pick up your cross and carry it. Yep. You see it a lot in hustle culture, girl boss culture.
Hold on, we got a comment.
Oh.
But at the same time, we are contaminated by this world, how they want us to live our life in society, especially they don't want to hear God's word. That's sad, because God has all the solution in our lives.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
He definitely is. And as I get older, as I live more and experience more and just grow in my walk with Christ more, I'm like, man, how did I ever live without realizing that God is truly the center of my life? I look back and I'm like, I must have been covered. I must have had some praying parents. I must have had the biggest covering, and I'm so grateful for that, because
grace.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because like I said, everything points back to the word. Everything. And that's why they call it the living word, right? Because it doesn't change, but it applies to everything. Even the things that we haven't seen yet. It was already prophesied, and it's already spoken of in the word. Mm-hmm. Crazy. Yeah. So yeah, solution to all of our lives, and we just want to bypass them because we really just don't want to be held accountable.
Yeah, I really just think that we don't. So God wants to download His programming on us, but ever since we've been born, we have had the world's culture, the world's programming to say, hey, I grew up in this certain area, and so this is a part of me. It's like, no. Like,
Yes.
God wants you to have his characteristics.
Yeah.
Meekness, love, kindness.
Yep.
All of that.
Yep. I like that you said that, because it's, again, as I get older, my identity becomes less of the labels of the world and more of
come on with it.
the labels that Christ has put on me, you know, like, because when you put the labels of the world on you, you're limiting yourself to those belief systems. Whereas when you identify solely in Christ, you're limitless.
Yes. Yes.
Just is what it is.
You know what? Everything that we're talking about right now is, if you just truly think about it, when it comes to narcissism, feminism, or, you know, or like the toxic masculinity, a lot of those things are, you know, things of this world. It's not from the spiritual aspect, because, you know, at the end of the day, God wants us to be Christ-like, Jesus, because a lot of times, even with us, we may say God, but sometimes some people that made a God in their head, they're like, hey, I'm a God or whatever.
Absolutely.
And so we got to make this clear that, hey, it's Jesus, because he is that representation.
Yep. You have to say it. You have to say it, because, again, no more being lukewarm about it. You got to. It's so crazy. People really fear the name Jesus.
Yeah.
They really do.
It's the most
and
hated.
that's how you know this is true.
Yeah.
That's how you know. Seriously. But yeah, that was the first sign of narcissism. I don't even know if we really talked about it like that, but narcissists have to be the best, the most right, and own everything and control everyone all the time. I see that in hustle culture. I see that in girl boss culture. I see it in wanting a man or woman to fit your impossible standards. I see it in thinking that your way of thinking is the only correct way of thinking.
Nah.
We see that all the time. That's why no one can have a conversation anymore. Because my way is the way.
Yep.
My way of thinking is the right way, and your way of thinking is harmful. It's toxic.
People cannot take constructive criticism.
Yep.
Shout out to my little sister. I love you.
Okay.
Miracle know that, oh yeah, I ruffle the feathers. That's just in me, you know. So hey, we gonna make some change. We gonna make it shake, as we say.
That's right. And we gonna move on to the next sign of narcissism too. Narcissists constantly need attention. Even just by following you around the house, asking you to find things, constantly saying something to grab your attention. And validation for a narcissist counts only if it comes from others. This is something I also see in the culture all the time, right? On social media or in certain minority groups that want everyone else to validate them, or their whole identity falls apart, essentially. Or trolls on the internet. You know, people like attention. I don't think there's anything wrong with admitting that you like attention, but it comes to a point where that attention fuels you. And I think a lot of it nowadays stems from like social media and stuff like that. Like that added factor is really big, because again, like we talked about in the first microtrends video with social media, you know, that dopamine hit every time you get a like.
Yep.
And that validation is really fuels your confidence level.
Yes.
You know,
it gets all of us.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, it really does. It really does. Or again, validation for a narcissist counts only if it comes from others, right? But narcissists need that validation. And so what do we see a lot from certain groups of people that look for acceptance or tolerance or that validation, right? They want people to accept their way of thinking. It's not enough that we just accept that they exist and that we can coexist. They want you to also adopt their way of thinking. It's no longer enough to just sit there and say, hey, we cool. We think differently, but we're cool. No, that's not enough anymore. You have to think what I think. You have to. Otherwise, you're a bad person.
That's deep. That's
narcissistic.
Yes. And that's a heart problem.
Oh, yeah.
And that's also you being self-conscious about yourself, to where I need that quote unquote validation. I need you to, it's almost like, hey, I want you to accept me being, I mean, possibly I could be wrong, you know, in some things. It's almost like, you know, what do you call the people who actually try to have a relationship with a kid or with a pedophile? Yeah, a pedophile. A pedophile, you know.
That's what you're talking about.
So, you know, those people like, hey, I identify as a child and I can have a relationship with a child. No.
Yes,
no,
exactly.
Bro, you're dead wrong. As two left shoes.
It's like, where does the line end, you know?
That's narcissism.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you brought it up, sister.
Absolutely. Right. So also, narcissists need everything to be perfect. They believe they should be perfect, that you should be perfect. Everything should happen exactly the way as expected, and life should play out exactly as they envision it. Right? Do you meet those people who get easily frustrated when things don't go according to their plan, right? Mm-hmm. Or have you ever called yourself a perfectionist? Or have you ever even played around and said you probably have OCD? You know, I see this in the culture all the time too. You know, people want things exactly the way they want it. And if it doesn't go that way, they get frustrated and they take it out on everyone around them. They might not think that they do, but that little attitude is still taking it out on everyone. The attitude that you have when things don't go your way, you might not think anyone cares about it, but they do, because you are pushing that attitude towards the people around you who have nothing to do with your need for perfection.
Ooh. Hey, she's cooking at it. I promise you, she's cooking like, you know, Chef
That
Curry
is
with the
narcissism.
pot.
Watch yourself. So, yeah. Anything you want to say about that?
No, I feel like you definitely, you know, hit the points. And, I mean, you already was cooking to where I already smell, you know, smoke in the kitchen.
Let me tell you. Okay, you're funny. Let me tell you what hit me close to home, though. Narcissists perceive everything as a threat. There's another sign. They frequently misread subtle facial expressions and are typically biased toward interpreting facial expressions as negative. I will admit, that is me. That is me. I do it with you all the time. Every time you're not smiling for the next like 10 seconds, I'm like, did I do something? Are you okay? Did I do something wrong? Are you all right?
And I cannot hold my facial expression, so I would.
But you could just be tired, is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Like, you could be tired. It probably isn't anything negative at all.
True.
And it has nothing to do with me. So it's narcissistic to believe that everything has to do with you. Did you ask that person if something is wrong with them, something that's going on in their life, or did you automatically assume it has something to do with you? Because that way of thinking is narcissistic.
Yeah.
Because not everything is about you.
So would you say that the feminists, I would say, I'm not gonna say just the feminist group or the ideology of feminism, that it has some narcissistic capabilities, I would say, or, you know, ways?
Absolutely. Everything I pretty much described so far was in the feminist movement at some point. If it's not now, I mean, yeah, feminists are encouraging women to believe themselves to always be right, to never need anyone's approval. And they claim that they're teaching women not to need anyone's validation, but you're doing the exact opposite by letting women know that when you have these superficial things, you're now in the good. You're now good. Mm-hmm. You have the good career, you're awesome. You have the money, you're awesome. You have all that, you're awesome, right? And so that's essentially what it means to have narcissistic tendencies. Because again, we're not diagnosing anyone. Yeah. We're just speaking on the culture as it reflects characteristics of narcissism. right? And how it's mainly accepted and encouraged within the feminist movement, because it is. It really is. You know, another thing too, right? Narcissists don't have the capacity or the motivation to communicate or work as part of a team. What's a team? A man and a woman in a relationship can be a team.
Yeah.
You see all these women who are just saying things like, you know, I'm just not able to be in a relationship. I'm just not able to deal with anyone. I can't do it. Like, I can't deal with another person.
See,
why can't you deal with another person? That's a problem. How are you able to keep a job? How are you able to network and mingle if you can't keep a relationship? You can't keep a relationship? That's the most important relationship besides the one with God that you'll have. Mm-hmm.
I got a scripture for that. So you know how it says in Matthew, you got to take the speck out of your eye because you're looking at somebody else. Because a lot of times, I know this relates to the narcissism and, you know, and the whole feminist movement and everything. So a lot of times we don't have that constant reflection. They're saying, you know what? I'm the common denominator in this. And so I need to look at myself because, like you said, everybody is going outside of themselves and saying, hey, this person is the problem, when all along it's my spirit, it's my energy. On however you want to, you know, count it. Yes, it is you at the end of the day. Like, if you can't get along with somebody, that's a you problem.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. A lot of people want to be coddled. Oh, no, baby. No.
I completely agree. Yes. Another sign is a narcissist personality is split into good and bad parts. Any negative thoughts or behaviors are blamed on you or others, whereas they take credit for everything that is positive and good.
You said they take credit?
They take credit for everything good. So all their positive characteristics, they'll gladly take credit for those. But everything bad about them, they blame it on other people. Oh, you have anger issues. Oh, I don't have anger issues. People are just making me mad.
I mean, I used to do that.
And sounds pretty narcissistic.
Yeah, but I'm not even going to put that label on me because
just messing with you.
I know I'm not even going to put that one on me now. So
no, you're because you're not unless we go to the doctor and find out.
Good things take time. That's why I wore the hat just for today.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know why you said that just now.
What you mean?
I don't know what that has to do.
That means
it's true.
That means that, like when I was narcissistic, or as you would say, narcissistic, and now I'm better. I'm looking at my own way. That's that good thing.
Okay.
I'm simmering.
I see what you're saying. I don't think you were ever narcissistic though.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah. She throwing shade, but I let her make it.
I'm really not. He basically, you grew up pretty
rough,
selfless.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I was gonna say selfless.
Okay.
You gave a lot.
Yeah.
Anybody narcissistic would not do that.
True.
I'm just saying.
I appreciate you for.
Of course. Of course.
Okay.
You're funny. I'm gonna talk about 2 more signs, and then we're going to get into a video. Okay? So another sign of narcissism is narcissists make most of their decisions based on how they feel about something. They always look to something or someone outside of themselves to solve their feelings and needs. I can't help but think that this is such a woman problem.
Because it's not a man problem.
I didn't say it was not a man problem. I'm saying, what are you saying? I'm confused.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Don't mind me.
What I'm saying is it's a woman problem because oftentimes women make decisions based on how they feel, how we feel. Mm-hmm. We are very feeling beings. We were created that way. And I'll say a woman that maybe has these narcissistic tendencies will look to something or someone outside of themselves to solve their feelings and needs. I mean, how often do you hear that in relationships with modern women I hate saying that term because like red pillars use it, and but whatever. Okay. Actually, we're gonna talk about red pillars in a minute, but yeah. So think about how in relationships with modern women, you hear all the time where the woman wants the man to be responsible for her feelings and the way she feels about whatever. I can't even think of an example right now, which is weird because I can.
People know.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway.
She has given a plethora of, tendencies when it just comes to just that narcissistic, mindset and what it ultimately, just deals with is us truly knowing ourselves and also just being true to ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Having good friends and stuff like that is really, really key to it. I mean, Jesus had friends, and his disciples. That ultimately, it definitely really, really helps you out at the end of the day because of the different perspectives and love and everything. So
yeah, absolutely, and that kind of brings it to what we're going to get into about Princess Tiana, the Disney princess. We talked about her briefly. Tiana was a hard worker. But in the movie, she was literally reminded of what's truly important, which is love. In the end, she realized her family and the love of her life was more important than any dream or personal wants that she had at the time. Even Tiana's mom kept saying in the movie, her dad, who she was trying to get the restaurant in honor of, may not have gotten the place that he wanted, but he got what he needed, which is love. And ultimately, Tiana came to that realization, too, as she fell in love with Naveen throughout the story. So, gonna share a clip of that, too.
yeah, I was waiting for that clip. That's my favorite movie, by the way.
Wait!
Tiana?
Tiana? Don't do this.
I have to do this, and we are running out of time.
I won't let you.
It's the only way to get to your dream.
My dream? My dream wouldn't be complete without you in it. I love you, Naveen.
What's and all?
What's and all?
All my life, I read about true love and fairy tales, and Tia, you found it. I'll kiss him. For you, honey. No marriage required. Oh, my word. Maybe that old clock's a little fast. Oh. I'm so sorry.
I really like the end when they smile because they're not upset that they didn't get to turn back into humans at that point because they had each other. They were okay with the circumstances because they had each other. Because at that point, they both wanted what they wanted, which was to turn back human and for her to get her restaurant.
Exactly.
But at the end, they were like, you know what? I got you. You got me. I'm okay with this life if it means you're in it.
And once again, that's a beautiful thing because you're not going out externally looking for, this perfect little fairy tale. Like, that movie exemplified, in my opinion, what a relationship is. It's probably one of the best Disney movies and more realistic movies it is. I mean, because it shows a transition. It shows you having to pivot in life when it comes to love and also when it comes to yourself, because sometimes we can be stuck on, certain things that you lose focus on what it is ultimately about. It's not, and it's not about us at all. as much as we want to try to make it, you know, like it is, it's not. Because we're supposed to be, in my opinion, supposed to live full and die empty.
That was good. Okay. We're going to discuss the fourth microtrend within feminism and the last one.
Yeah.
The rise of the red pill movement. Okay. Do you know what that is, Alan?
I promise you I don't.
Really?
I promise you I don't.
At all?
I don't know none of these millennial words.
Okay. Well, I was debating even talking about this because it's a conversation all on its own, but
We gonna keep it short and sweet.
yeah, I have to talk about this movement. You know, it came up as a result of the modern feminist movement because it seems, you know, it just seems that modern feminism and the red pillars are two sides of the same coin. I always joke and say that they should just date each other since they hate each other so much. And although I do understand why it became a movement, the red pill movement became one out of the Feminist movement, which is basically the men's rights movement. It's literally the opposite. So that's all it is. But just like any movement, you got the radicals on either side. And so that's how the red pill movement came up within the Feminist movement. The ones that basically vocalize how much they love watching women be put back in their place, whether that's in the kitchen or in an online debate. So I watched the red pill movement kind of become what it is today because I used to be an avid watcher of the late Kevin Samuels. And
That's my guy.
yeah, and I would say Kevin was more of a minimalist than a red pillar, but because red pillars are so radical, they quickly took Kevin and claimed him as their own, which sucks because he's not really alive to defend himself in that way. I truly believe he was an advocate for all of that. I mean, for men, women, and he was because he also talked about, you know, men too. Like he talked about, you know, men getting their lives together.
Yeah. So what I liked about Kevin Samuels, and just piggybacking everything that you're talking about, Kevin Samuels, he just didn't talk about things. Yes, he may have given examples about things regarding the female and male dynamic because he was seeing a trend. He was seeing a micro trend of women showing themselves as a commodity, but not truly, basically trying to have it their way, having a narcissistic quality, not being a narcissist, and wanting both sides of the coin. And so Kevin Samuels brought solutions like, hey, if you want a certain thing, work out. If you want to have a certain lifestyle, work hard. Those are the things that, you know, my boy Kevin Samuels used to talk about. It wasn't like, yes, he had his ways. Yes, he was real, you know, gutter with it, and he was really upfront. But to be honest, that's what a lot of men need now, is somebody just to, you know, cut it to them raw and uncut. I mean, to me, that was the best way that anybody could actually grow from, to live like, hey, I love you, brother, or I love you, sister, but you need to tighten up. You need to tighten up in, you know, being at places on time. You need to tighten up on planning, and I'm talking about myself. By the way, there are a lot of things that you need to do, and a lot of people don't like you calling them out on their BS.
Yeah. It's a very uncomfortable place to be in.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you feeling attacked? Are you feeling hit?
No, I'm really not. I was waiting to see if you were going to say more things.
Oh, no.
This is kind of your area.
Yeah. You know, sometimes I feel like I cooked enough early. I already provided shrimp fried rice for y'all. You
did. But we're going to bring this to a close.
Okay.
All right. So I am really happy because I am actually seeing a shift now in the space where men and women are actually getting tired of the gender wars. I am seeing that shift. I see more of them actually trying to turn back to God more, and more of them trying to learn each other and honor each other. It's happening slowly, but surely it is happening. Mm-hmm. Okay? Where radical feminists try to persuade the world that there was no inherent difference between male and female, cultural feminists sort of commended and celebrated the differences between men and women. So I guess, what does the Bible really have to say about all this, right? Well, we can go back to the beginning like we did earlier. And actually, we can go to Genesis 1:27. So God created humans in his image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them, right? So God, he created every single person, every man and woman in the very image of himself, right? And that's pretty incredible. That means we should all be treated and be treating each other as an image bearer of God. This is actually something you say a lot too. And that means, loving and respecting each other. But did you also notice, what else Genesis tells us, which is male and female, he created them. Well, that means God made males and females, and he made them different, and he made them distinct, but both are in his image.
That right there, my people, was an allegory.
Is it?
Yes, he wouldn't have repeated that for, nothing. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them.
I don't know the definition of allegory.
That is the definition of allegory. It's
I don't know.
A hidden meaning.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. Well, now you know.
I don't use it right in the sentence, I guess.
Now you know.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So, how do you guys view feminism? You know what I mean? Is it misunderstood? Is it no longer relevant? Do you consider yourself a modern day feminist, or do you hold true more to the traditional values that feminism used to have, right? Does feminism today align with biblical values, or does it even matter if it does or not?
Make sure you comment on that. You can comment right now. We will eventually get to it. We would definitely love for, just to get your perspective on things, because I feel like the more that we grow, the more that, we want to build this community, because we would like your advice. We would like your perspective, because I'm all for it. If it's something that we can actually benefit from, just from your comment, I would say that we all definitely would definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, so like and subscribe for the algorithm, and we're going to pull up the schedule for the next week. So that way you guys can know what shows are going to be up this upcoming week. You do not want to miss some of these shows. I'm telling you, we get into some deep stuff, okay?
We get it in.
All right. I guess that's it. You want to close us out, sir, Mr. Allen J?
Yes, ma'am. So definitely make sure that you all definitely comment, subscribe. Definitely appreciate everyone for actually coming, and see you next time.